Very good. So this is our, well, this is our 15th lesson, although it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So for everyone who is watching the video, can you read this, the following collocation?
Um,
Do you see? Can you
yes.
see?
Yes. I have to read it.
Yes, because I am recording it, and so
okay.
For people who are going to watch it later, there's no one around for you, but you can read.
Okay.
I mean, yes, you can read. Just tell me, can you read the
yes.
collocation?
Yes. Okay. To appoint a director.
So now you know you don't name and you don't collocate and you don't you appoint a person, and actually it's a collocation useful for any sort of position, although sometimes you may vote in order to place someone in a particular position. Well, now you obviously know that there's always democracy and all other means, but now you know it's to appoint a director. You will find it in legal English a lot, especially within this sort of within this section, with this area of law, which is company law. You will see that you appoint someone for a particular position within a company, and in this case it's a director. So, well, let's move on. Trust me, if you feel weird because you're the only one, the feeling is mutual. I also feel weird because there's no one around. But don't worry, because I did announce it, so people should be joining us anytime soon. So can you read the next one?
Yes. To remove a director.
So it's the opposite. You appoint or you remove. And well, if you can do both, you have a lot of power. Because you appoint and you remove as you wish, as you please. It's so frightening. Right. Do you have that kind of power in your job, Tatiana?
What?
Do you have the power to appoint someone or to remove someone?
No.
Wow.
I don't.
You're just a simple worker. It's okay. Very good. Right, so can you read the next one?
Good faith.
Good faith. So, well, you could also collocate with a gesture of. If you want to write it down, a gesture of, I cannot write it down right here, because you say a gesture of good faith. And well, that's another type of collocation. But in this case, good faith is always, it would always collocate. So now you know. Right.
Something have to do with no sé cómo decir, como un tipo de se ponen de acuerdo sin contrato. What
So. Sorry, I didn't. Well, you're right. You're probably right. I don't know much about it. That's why, because I'm not a lawyer. I just know what it means when you have good faith, and that is actually that you trust someone. Yesterday we were revising with another student several old topics that we have already studied, you and I, in other lessons, not in previous lessons. And well, we studied the fact that you may sometimes create a contract out of good faith without being written, without something in writing, because well, so it's what you said, you trust someone. And so can you read the next one?
To act improperly.
Improperly. What does it mean, improperly?
Inapropiado.
Inappropriate.
Como
Yeah.
no debe ser.
Inappropriate, yes, but you don't say inappropriately because it sounds like a tongue twister. It's better if you say improperly. And in this case, it's a good collocation in legal English. So you behave in an improperly manner. So this is what now you know. You act improperly if you don't perform as you are supposed to. Whoa, sorry, I forgot. Read the next one.
To declare a dividend.
Declare a dividend. Do you remember what is it to declare a dividend? I'm not sure if you have studied that with Daniela. Have you studied something with Daniela, right?
Something, yeah, but this I don't remember that part.
Well, declare a dividend, it's what we have been studying all along, is part of the agreements you have within a company. The idea of a dividend is mostly related to insolvency, but that's not the topic we're going to, I think. I just read the material well, I think this is the type of topic that we may be dealing today. It's insolvency. So read the next one.
To remove that.
The same one. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Read the next one.
To give consideration to.
Right. To give consideration to. Now you know the final two. That's the important one. Well, to give consideration. Now you know you have to be considerate, and for that you need to give consideration. And so, can you read the next one?
A conflict of interest.
What is a conflict of interest?
Do
you know?
Puede ser, le puedes decir en español. Puede ser que yo vi algo de eso como cuando hay una publicación científica y algunos dicen que no hay conflicto de intereses cuando escriben, digamos, una investigación, conclusiones o algo que tiene que ver con alguna propiedad intelectual, ¿sí? Y a veces escriben como que no hay conflicto de interés.
I didn't know that.
I think, yes.
Conflict of interest normally, for example, in law, legal English, a conflict of interest is mostly related sometimes with disputes between lawyers. That's why that's mostly what I know. But your point of view is actually very interesting. I didn't know that. Can you read the next one?
To give advice.
To give advice. What does it mean when you give advice to someone?
Dar un consejo, but I think it some law advice of lawyer.
Well, you could have
legal advice
to recommend something, and it's still correct. It wouldn't be. It would still be correct. It wouldn't be correct as regards collocation because you're supposed to use advice. You know that when you give advice, you help someone by a counsel, by giving them a counsel. But that's probably what you said. What, right? What did you say?
What I say about advice?
Yes, you were saying something. Sorry that I interrupted you.
Some advice of lawyer advice.
Legal advice.
Legal
yes.
Advice, yes.
Totally. Legal advice. Excellent. Very good, Tatiana. So interesting that no one dared to come. Like, it's so sad.
Maybe in
a lot of memories.
someone.
But why?
Connect.
Why? I just sent it. I said it to everyone.
Maybe.
When did you read the text, Tatiana? Did you read the
yeah.
text when I said them?
No. I was busy and I can't.
Right. Very good. I like it. Yes. Well, Adela has just tell me that we are supposed to move on. So you are the privileged one. You're the only one. Yeah. It's so cool to be unique. So let's move on, shall we? Keep going, keep reading. Now let's focus on prepositions, which is my favorite part.
To have at least a particular number.
To have, yes. Now you know, at least.
At least.
Particular.
Sí, por
So
lo menos, at least, por lo menos,
yes.
sería.
Yes, at least. That would be the translation in Spanish, the equivalent in Spanish, although I don't usually like to translate to, yes, I don't normally like to translate, but sometimes it's useful. Al menos it's correct because it's at least. In this case, it's a particular number. Can you read the example?
A public limited company must have at least 2 directors.
So now you know, you mean that someone must at least present a certain number of something, whatever it is, 2 directors, public limited company. Right, let's move on.
To appoint someone as director.
So now you know, you appoint a director and you appoint someone as director. They are both correct. But in this case, we are making focus on as because you are appointing the person, you're signaling who is specifically as a director. Well, so now you know. Can you read the example?
They decided to appoint Billy Martin as new director.
New director. Know that director and director, they
Yes.
are the same. You can say director and you can say director, and it's correct. Hello. Both of them are correct. Hello, Juan Ignacio. Let's hope more people come. Right. Juan Ignacio, can you read it? Can you read this phrase right here? We're just focusing on prepositions. Okay. If you feel you have missed a lot of material because we have just finished with collocations, all of this is already on the platform, so you can read it on your own. Don't worry. Can you read the phrase right here, the preposition, the collocation?
Yes, to be satisfied or dissatisfied with someone.
So it's satisfied with or dissatisfied. In this case, the idea of with signals a passive form. That's why. But so now you know it's with someone, something. You may be dissatisfied with a politician. No. Right. Can you read the example, Juan Ignacio?
The shareholders were dissatisfied with the explanation given by the directors.
Given, sorry, by the director.
Given by the...
Given by the directors. Sorry, there's a typo there. Very good. So let's move on. Tatiana, can you read the next one?
Yes, to act in the interest of someone.
Of someone, to act in the interest. You may sometimes act in the best interest of someone. I think it's also a useful, I think it's also another correct collocation. But in this case, it's still correct to act in the interest of someone. Well, in the best interest of someone is normally applied with infants, with children, with underage people, but that's because of international convention. Right. Can you read the example, Tatiana?
We are acting in the interest of the company. Of the company.
Company, yes.
Company.
In the interest of. That's what you're supposed, all of you, both of you, to make an emphasis. And let's see, is there another one? Can you read the next one, Juan Ignacio?
Yes, to lead to something.
Yes, to lead. It leads to something. Read the example.
If you are late in filing your tax return, this may lead to a fine.
Well, I think that's well, now you know it's not so hard. It's pretty transparent, wouldn't you think so? I think in this case it's pretty similar to Spanish. Is there an equivalent expression in Spanish?
Te lleva a algo. Llevar a algo.
Right. Another way to say it, it would be it results in, and that's another preposition, you know?
Results. Resulta.
It results in something, and they are all of these are extremely formal, and they are very useful when writing, when creating essays and legal documents is extremely useful because they are extremely formal expressions that aren't normally used. So, well, I hope you sometimes use it on your own for any sort of document. Especially, Tatiana, you're a scientist, aren't you?
Yes.
Good. You know, scientists draft a lot of essays, and they used a lot of this vocabulary. I love writing down essays.
Yes, scientific articles. Have a lot.
Totally.
Yes. Have a lot expressions que parecen a los de law. Sorry for Spanish.
Well, they are pretty similar because legal English is filled with a lot of formal language that we wouldn't normally.
Formal language, yes.
We wouldn't normally use because it's it sounds weird. It sounds odd. It makes you feel like a weirdo. It's not vernacular. Wow. Vernacular is another word for vulgar language. You know that it's not everyday language. That's mostly the definition. Let me just check because we have other types of activities right here. Let me. Do you see this?
Yes.
Right. So now you know, well, all of this is a formality. It's just for me and for both of you to have your mind, to have all your affairs in order so that we can set ourselves. Juan Ignacio, can you read? We're going to be dealing with, sorry, Juan Ignacio. In this case, we're gonna start learning about people in a company. I think we started a little bit about it in the previous lesson, didn't we? In this case, we're going to start with directors. And now, Juan Ignacio, read. Can you read the exercise, the assignment?
Greg Garrison, one of the partners of Taylor Wallis, is preparing a seminar on the role and duties of directors. Greg has written the following notes, which will be given to all clients who attend the seminar. Find the words in the notes that match each of the meanings given below.
Given below, yes. Sorry that I needed to. Right, I'm going to send it to you if you want. If both of you want, you can join me, or we can just, I can work alone and you just do as I say. Wow. Right. So we are supposed to read some notes here. Tatiana, can you start reading?
Yes. The owners of a limited company are the shareholders. However, the shareholders don't run the company. The directors do this. All private limited companies must have at least one director. A public limited company must have at least two directors. I continue.
Go on, Juan Ignacio.
Okay.
Yes. Shareholders can choose
Yes, shareholders can choose.
who they want to appoint as a director. You will find the rules concerning directors in the company's articles of association. The articles may say how many directors there should be, how long they can serve as a director, and what happens at the end of their term. In many companies, directors are required to retire after a specific period of time, for example, 3 years, although the directors can be reappointed. If the company is dissatisfied with the performance of a director, it can remove a director before the period.
Sorry, Juan Ignacio. Let me just remark, quick
Okay.
remark. Performance. Can you repeat, both of you? Performance.
Performance.
Right. So go on reading, Juan Ignacio.
It can remove a director before the period of his or her office has expired. However,
yes, go on, yes.
However, the company may still be liable to pay the removed director compensation or damages in respect of the termination of the appointment as director.
As director, yes. Let's now, well, let's move on to the next part right here. Sorry, has anyone joined? There is an anonymous elephant. Wow, I love elephants. Congratulations, they are so noble. I once delivered a whole presentation on them. All right, Tatiana, do you see this? Can you go on reading?
Okay. In the Companies Act, a director is defined as including any person occupying the position of director by whatever name called. If you have been appointed as a director and you are involved in the day-to-day decision making, you are called an executive director. If you have been appointed as a director, but you don't have any involvement in the day-to-day running of the company, you are called a non-executive director. As a non-executive director, you will have the same legal responsibilities as other directors. If you have never been appointed as a director, you may still be classed as a shadow director. A shadow director is defined in the Companies Act as a person in accordance with whose directions or instructions the director of the company are accustomed to act. As a shadow,
accustomed to act. Go on.
Accustomed to act. A shadow director, you will have the same legal responsibilities as other directors.
Go on reading, Juan Ignacio. You know where we are? Right here, as a director.
Yes. As a director, you have many business responsibilities for ensuring.
Let me stop you right there. Ensuring. Can both of you repeat? Ensuring.
Ensuring.
Ensuring, because it's a tricky word. So ensuring, yes, ensuring. You can go on reading.
For ensuring the success of your company in areas such as health and safety, employment law, and tax. In all your actions, you are expected to exercise a degree of skill and care. The term fiduciary duty is used a lot when talking about directors. This means that you, as a director, are in a position of trust and you must act in good faith and in the interests of the company as a whole.
Right, go on reading, Tatiana. I think that's the final part, isn't it?
If a director acts improperly, this may lead to a fine, disqualification from being a director, personal liability for the company's debts, or criminal conviction.
Conviction, yes. Let's see, is there something else? All right, so let's see. Well, in this case, we're supposed to read from the phrases, and you are supposed to match the meanings with the phrase below. You're going to tell me, for example, you can look at the text and I can read and say, letter A says to formally choose someone for a particular job or position. And the word is, which is the word in the text?
To appoint.
To appoint, to formally choose someone, yes, for a particular. Do you want to, oh, all right, I'm gonna write it down. The word is to appoint. And remember that it says the word, and in this case, it's a verb. And be careful with verbs because if it's an infinitive, you need the to infinitive, the to, in order to mark that is a verb. And that's just a quick grammar review. So, but it's just an advice for you. Right. Letter B, Juan Ignacio. It says here to be in the position of a director and to perform the duties required by that position. Which is the word for it? I think it's not a word, but two words.
Decision making.
Decision making. What do you think, Tatiana? Because where is decision making? Can you tell me?
To be in position of a director, I'm thinking
because it says right there to be in a position of a director and perform the duties required by that position. There is a part right here in which it talks about the responsibility of the director because it has a duty to fulfill. Can you see it?
Yes.
Do you see it?
So I can choose who's yes. Occupying the position.
Occupying. Well, I thought, in my opinion, was fiduciary duty, but if you both say that it is not, then it's none. There's no problem. Juan Ignacio, which was your opinion?
I said decision making.
Decision making, I like that one.
Decision making. But some directors, not our decision making day by day. About.
All right, so let's go with and what is your opinion, Tatiana?
I don't know. I don't find any appropriate word.
Well,
From
my
text.
opinion was fiduciary duty, and well, but Juan Ignacio says it's decision making.
Okay.
I thought it was fiduciary duty because it's precise, and decision making can be any type of decision making in any aspect of life. But he's actually correct because it's to be in a position of a director and to perform the duties. Probably. In any case,
there is no case for this.
Yes,
for this.
yes, I could try to find it, but it could take me a little bit. If you want, I can do it, but it's gonna take me a while.
Oh.
If you want to wait.
First, we can do all of points of words.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Primero podemos hacer todo de,
yes, you're right. You're right. Very good. I like your spirit. Right. So, both of you, to dismiss a director from his or her job or position, and the word is, which one is it?
To remove.
To remove. Yes, and it's not to remove. To dismiss. And now you know, here, take this into account, to dismiss, because it's very how can I say, it's a very precise expression within this area of law, because you well, normally the slang form would be you fired someone, but to dismiss, to remove, that's legal English. And so always bear in mind those quirks, I could say, quirks, because they are pretty subtle, and sometimes in examinations they require you to bear in mind the subtle expressions. So Tatiana, in that case, it's actually correct. Juan Ignacio, letter D, regarded as belonging to a group, particular group. Which is your opinion? What is the word in that case?
Maybe cold.
Where is that? Right. To dismiss, to regard as belonging to a particular group.
For example, if you have been appointed as a director and you are involved in the day-to-day decision making, I'm involved in something. I don't know, is
to be involved. That's what she's saying.
Yes, maybe.
To be involved to a particular group. But it says here, belonging to a particular group, and to be involved. Well, let's see. To be involved. because you're right. I don't actually see any other alternative. Right. Be involved. All right, Juan Ignacio, to have become used to something, which could, in your opinion, what is the word in that case? I say Juan Ignacio because Tatiana is answering all the questions. I'm sorry. Let's hope he's right. So Tatiana, to have become used to something.
I'm back, sorry.
Yes, very good. So Juan Ignacio, here the expression to have become used to something. Let me just make it bigger so that I can used to something, and the word is, think of that. Think of this fact, to be used to. So let's see.
A costume.
Costumes, very good, yes. Costume. All right, both of you, to use, to put something into effect. What is that? Can you tell me which would be the word in that case?
To perform.
Perform, yes. See. Perform, I'm not so sure.
Oh, maybe.
What do you think, Juan Ignacio?
I'm not sure.
To use, to put something into effect. Put something into effect. Hacer trabajar, ¿sí? Hacer que algo funcione.
Well, you have ensuring, I think. I think that's the word for it. Put something into effect. Well, that's my opinion. What do you think, Juan Ignacio, Tatiana?
No, maybe I'm not sure really.
Well, let's write it down. Ensuring. But ensuring is actually making sure. Wow, so redundant. That's why I'm not so sure, but it's let's write it down and let's check afterwards the keys, which is what Tatiana proposed, and it's excellent, Tatiana. Let's a G, Juan Ignacio, Tatiana, dishonestly or illegally. Which is it? Which word is it? The word is, there was one.
Improperly.
Improperly, I think, yes. Improperly, very good. Where is it? Improperly. Yes, improperly, right here. Excellent, Tatiana, right there. Can you see it, Juan Ignacio?
Yes, I think it is improper.
Right there, improperly. That was a collocation that you weren't there to learn because, well, I'm not so sure why people are late. Let's hope there's nothing wrong. I hope. Well, she said improperly. And well, the final one, the state of being stopped by from being a particular job or from taking part in any particular activity.
Disqualification.
Being stopped. Disqualification. Wow. Yes, disqualification. Exactly correct. And I'm gonna highlight it because it's an excellent word. People don't normally use it. So, the word is disqualification. All right, let's do exercise 2. Tatiana, can you read the, no. Yes, Tatiana, can you read the assignment?
Yes, Greg has invited the participants at the seminar to ask any questions that they have. Read the notes in exercise 1 again and answer the participants' questions below using a full sentence.
Well, in this case, it's a very good exercise to exercise. Wow, it's so redundant. Our skills as regards answering with a full sentence, because that's what the examination, that's what the people from TOEFL examination normally want, a full sentence. So for example, here they say, we're thinking about setting up a private limited company. How many directors must we have? Can you tell me?
I think one.
At least one director. There, can you see it?
Yes.
You see the screen, it's on frame number 3, at least one director. So very good, Juan Ignacio.
But expression as a private limited companies must have at least one director, a frase entera?
Yes, it would be a private limited company. Wow. Private limited company must have at least, there you go, at least one director. Must have at least one director. You see, that's an example of a full sentence. It's, yes, recording. And well, let her be here. If Tatiana can answer, our company is unhappy with one of our directors and we want to fire him. Will the company have to pay him any money? Where is the answer for it?
If a director acts improperly, this may lead to a fine, disqualification from being a director, personal liability for the company's debts, or a criminal conviction.
Wow, it's a lot for a director.
Oh, no.
So in that case, what do you think, Tatiana? Are we supposed to pay him money?
If the company is dissatisfied with the performance of a director, it can remove performance of a director. It can remove a director before the period of his or her office has expired. However, he must still be. I know.
Well, it says right there below what you just said, what you just read.
However, the company must still be liable to pay the removed director compensation or damages in respect of the termination of the appointment as director. Okay.
So now you know. Well, it's a long answer. The company may, in that case, you see, Well,
Uh,
you could
uh,
paraphrase. You could say, in that case, comma, the company, it's still, well, you could use a very formal expression as obliged to pay the director compensation. Compensation, and that would be
Still, how to pronounce obliged?
obliged.
Obliged to
It's
pay.
with an I,
to pay the
obliged.
director.
It's still
Okay.
obliged to pay the director compensation.
Mhm.
Or the company is still supposed to pay the director compensation. Well, I'm giving you the very useful words to use when writing. In respect of the termination of the appointment as director, that would be the full
To
answer.
fire, to fire, or fire.
Yes,
To
in that case, to pay the
fire.
compensation in respect of the termination of the period of the director.
Mm.
The director, that's it. So, very good, Tatiana. I really like it. It's excellent. I wish both of you. Tatiana, are you going to sit for the higher examination? Higher TOEFL examination?
No, I am not.
Oh, it's so sad because you have excellent reading skills. In that case,
I need more studies.
to study more, right?
Study more. I need to
Study
study more. Yes.
Well, it's okay to feel insecure, so no one can blame you. Let me just tell you, you have excellent reading skills.
Thank you.
The same for Juan Ignacio. Juan Ignacio, it says right there, my father is a director of a company. He doesn't make decisions for the company or have any say in the running of the company, but he does give advice. He's more like a consultant, really. What sort of director is he? And does he have any legal responsibility? Wow, it's so long, the question. The company, what do you think? What type of director is the man's father in that case? He doesn't have
non-executive.
Non-executive. Is it true?
Or maybe a shadow director. What is difference?
Well, it says if you have never been appointed as director, you may still be classed as a shadow director. A shadow director is defined in the Companies Act as a person in accordance with those directions or instructions the directors of the company are accustomed to act. As a shadow director, you will have the same legal responsibilities as other directors. And if you have, Juan Ignacio said, a non-executive director, and it says here, if you are involved in the day-to-day decision-making, you are called an executive director. If you have been appointed as a director, but you do not have any involvement in the decision-making, you're called a non-executive director, and I think Juan Ignacio is correct. Very good, Juan Ignacio. Well, yes. And so in a full answer, both of you tell me which would be the correct answer. Yeah, I mean, which would be the way to formulate. Wow, that's another very formal expression, to formulate the correct answer.
Your father is non-executive director.
That would be exactly the correct answer, but it's not full, but it's actually correct. Always remember to, it's always useful to start with some connectors, which is what I sometimes teach you. as in, you say, in that case, it's more like a consultant, really, a sort of director. In that case, your father is known as what?
A non-executive director.
Non-executive director. And it says, did it say that he has any legal responsibilities to the company? Does it say? I couldn't read. I didn't read that part. What do you think? I think it says right there, as a non-executive director.
Can
you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
¿Hay que leerlo?
I just ask you, I'm just asking you for your opinion so that you can find the answer on your own. So that I stop talking so much. I'm sorry for that. What do you think? Does the non-executive director have the same legal responsibilities?
Yes. As a director. I don't understand what exactly I need to do and to read or find something.
Well, what about you, Juan Ignacio? She doesn't actually understand. We are just talking about the person who asked here. It says he's a director that is more like a consultant. What sort of director is he? And we just said it, he's a non-executive director. And in that case, he says, and does he have any legal responsibilities to the company?
Yes. Yes, and he still has legal responsibilities to the company.
Have legal responsibilities to the company.
He still has or he still have?
Oh, sorry, still has. Correct.
Yes.
Excellent. Has legal responsibilities to the company.
Yes.
Now you know it's responsibility to the company. That's another collocation. I'm not sure if I taught you that. Responsibilities to the company. Excellent, both of you. So let's see. Do you see this? Juan Ignacio, can you read letter D in frame number 7? Do you see the screen?
I've got a friend called Fred. He's officially a director of a company, and he tells the official directors what to do, and basically he's the person that runs the company. Is he a sort of a director?
What do you think? Is he sort of a director? Sort of a director.
A sort class of director.
Well, you know that an executive director, as people say in a slang form, calls the shots in the company, as in he gives orders and says what the company is supposed to do, what the employees are supposed to do. But there is another type, a final type of director, which is discussed about the non-executive director. And which is the other type?
Shadow.
A shadow director. Very good. Let me write it down. He is the person.
Is he a sort of a director? Yes, he is a shadow director in this case.
Yes, he is a
shadow director in this case, maybe.
Yes, totally, and very, very good. So you do get it, both of you, don't you, Juan Ignacio as well? Because this part of the language is actually a little bit boring and tedious because it sounds so weird to give a full answer for something that is so simple to answer. Don't you think so? But well, that's what people from TOEFL examination normally want most of the time. So that's why I'm preparing you for it. Are you going to sit for the examination, Juan Ignacio?
Yes, for the TOEFL higher exam.
Higher examination, yes. So now you know this skill is actually very useful for that. So, yes, you could. It's what Tatiana just said. In that case, you answer yes, dot, and in that case, comma, he or your friend is called a shadow director, or he is a shadow director. And that would be a full answer. Full answer is basically when it's more than just 2 words. When it's more than just a telegram. Wow. All right, Tatiana, can you read the final question?
Yes, can you please explain again that what fiduciary duty means?
Both of you, tell me, what is fiduciary duty?
Fiduciary that.
Can you say it? Fiduciary. Or yes, fiduciary.
Fiduciary.
Duty or that? Duty or that? How?
Duty.
Duty. Fiduciary duty.
You can say duty or duty, but the one you want.
Fiduciary duty.
Duty, yes. Let's see, what is fiduciary duty?
Fiduciary duty means that a director in a position of trust, there is a position of trust, and he must act in a good faith.
In a good faith. And well, in the interest of the company as a whole. But you're entirely right, Tatiana. And well, you say, and so Juan Ignacio, which would be the full answer in that case?
Fiduciary duty means,
Yeah.
and then the answer that I don't remember.
Fiduciary duty means, I'm sorry that it feels so childish, but that's the way they want it to be. So don't be overconfident. So fiduciary duty means
being as director of good faith.
Means that, comma, as a director, which is what Tatiana has just said. As a director, what?
As a director, acting in good faith. Acting,
but as a director, but what are you supposed to do as a director? That would be the rest of the answer. What are you supposed to do as a director?
Acting. Here you must act in good faith. Director acting in good faith in the interest of the company as a whole.
In good faith, in this interest of the company as a whole, and that's the correct answer. So
maybe acting in the interest. No. Oh, no.
It says right there, you must act in good faith in the interest of the company as a whole. In that case, it wouldn't be wrong to say act in good faith and comma in the interest of the company as a whole. It wouldn't be grammatically incorrect. You could say that it's better to put another connector as in act in good faith and so in the interest of the company as a whole. And you see, that's another way to connect the two expressions. And this part of the language is so important, and they don't normally teach, and people don't normally teach it, or they don't pay attention, or they are not interested. So I hope you both are interested. I hope you like it. And yes, well, now we're going to complete the final activity with a listening activity, and then you can both go and grab a cup of coffee and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Are you going to be busy this weekend, both of you?
Yes, I will.
Wow, it's so sad. What about you, Juan Ignacio? Are you going to go out and enjoy yourself?
Yes, I don't know.
Just a couple of beers with your guys, with the guys. Wow. So sorry, were you able to? Did you receive the listening assignment on the WhatsApp group?
Yes.
Don't worry, or you can just follow, or you can just watch the screen. In this case, for example, Tatiana, can you read the assignment?
Listen to Greg Harrison. He's giving the second part of his seminar about directors. In this part of the seminar, Greg is outlining the duties of directors. Answer the following questions.
Juan Ignacio, read the first one.
Greg Harrison said that the role of a director developed from two sources. One was statute. What was the other source?
The other source, yes. Read the next one, Tatiana.
Why do directors have a fiduciary?
Well, fiduciary. You as well, Juan Ignacio. Fiduciary.
Fiduciary.
Fiduciary duty.
Fiduciary.
It's hard to pronounce, so you're correct. You're right. Very good, Tatiana. Fiduciary duty
to the company.
To the company. Read the next one, Juan Ignacio.
In what year were the duties of a director codified?
Codified. Very good. So, do you see this? Both of you, it's on the final page, on the final frame. Tatiana, can you read letter D?
Why did the new Companies Act include a statutory statement of directors' duties?
Read the next one, Juan Ignacio.
How many duties for directors are specified in the new legislation?
Read the next one, Tatiana.
According to section 172, what do the directors have a duty to promote?
Promote and read the next one, Juan Ignacio. Letter G.
What is a factor which decides how much skill and care that directors must exercise in carrying out the duties?
Duties. Right. Tatiana, read the next one.
The fifth duty is contained in section 175. What must directors avoid?
Right. Read the next one, Juan Ignacio. Letter I.
In section 177, what must a director declare in relation to a proposed transaction?
Read the final one, Tatiana.
What is a possible punishment for failing the company with the
Failing.
duty failing
To comply.
Failing to comply with the duty contained in section 177.
You may, in English, you may also say 177 and it's still correct.
Okay.
Or you can just say 177 and it's still correct. Both of you. It's a good advice for the future. You may say section 175 or section 177 because it takes a lot of time for you and for me to say 177. It's a lot, even for me. So if you feel it's a little bit tiring just to say a number, a simple number, you know that you may break it down into several words, as in 177 or 175. Now you know. So, and what is failing? Do you know what is failing, Tatiana?
Failing is not complying.
Not complying, and you're right.
Fallar.
To fail. Yes, it would be to fail. That's it.
Fail.
I told you that it's correct to think think about it in Spanish, but not so much because sometimes it's not entirely correct and we have to be careful. But it's correct. You were right. To fail, for you to remember in the future. And failing, in this case, it's being used as a gerund. Do you know what is a gerund? Like this. It's pure grammar. A gerund. Do you know what is a gerund, Juan Ignacio?
Gerundio.
Yes. What is a gerundio? Well, a gerund is actually a word that functions normally in ing, in English at least, as an infinitive, but it's not an infinitive. Wow, that's so precise. An infinitive. But trust me, yes, but trust me, it's the one that dictionaries are going to give you. So don't feel bad if you don't understand, because I don't actually know the difference as well, but that's the definition. And gerund is a word that functions as a noun, but it's not a noun. So what is it? That's the great question. So now you know, what is the possible punishment for failing to comply? Let's see. I haven't checked the audio. I'm sorry, I just got home. I didn't have time to check it. So let's see if it's the one that you are supposed to listen to in this case. I'm going to share the audio in that case, and you're going to tell me whether you can listen to it. Yes.
Unit 9B.
Did you listen to it?
Yes.
Right, so let's check whether let's check the audio. And let's hope it's the correct one, because I'm always nervous. Always, trust me. Keep your eyes on the screen.
Unit 9B, the language of company law. Unit listening.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to this seminar. This morning's topic is the role of company directors following the recent introduction of new legislation. This affects all companies in the United Kingdom. The role and duty of directors has developed over the years from case law and statute. You are all aware of the fiduciary duty of the director to the company. Directors have this fiduciary duty because they are in a position of trust and confidence in relation to the company. Directors have a general obligation to act in good faith and in the best interests of the company, and not for any improper purpose. They mustn't, for example, make a secret profit out of their position. A director's duties were not clearly stated in statute until 2006. However, following the Companies Act 2006, there is now a statutory statement of directors' duties. This was done so that the law is made clear for directors. The codified duties are contained in sections 170 to 177 of the Act. Section 170 makes it clear that the duties of a director are owed to the company, and therefore generally only the company can enforce them. The Act then lists 7 specific duties. The first duty is the duty of a director to act within the company's constitution and only exercise powers for the purpose for which they are intended. The second duty, found in section 172, is the duty to promote the success of the company for the benefit of its members as a whole. This new duty broadly replaces the common law fiduciary duty to act in the best interests of the company that I mentioned earlier. In fulfilling the duty to promote the success of the company, the Act says that the directors must have regard to a long list of specific factors. These include the likely long-term consequence of any decision, the interests of the company's employees, the company's business relationships with suppliers, customers, and others, the impact of the company's operations on their community and the environment, and so on. There was considerable criticism of this new duty, with people expressing fears that directors will be more defensive in their actions. This is because directors must consider this long list of factors with every action they take. Time will tell whether this happens or not. The third duty is to exercise independent judgment, while section 174 deals with the fourth duty, which is to exercise reasonable care, skill, and diligence. An important factor to consider in this area is the individual director's level of specialist knowledge. The common law principles are now clear. Directors who have specialist knowledge must exercise greater care and skill than those who do not have this particular knowledge. Similarly, different skills would be expected of, say, a finance director and a personnel director. Section 175 provides for the fifth duty, which is to avoid conflicts of interest. A director must avoid a situation in which he or she has or can have a direct or indirect interest that conflicts or possibly may conflict with the interest of the company. This duty is not infringed, however, if the matter has been authorized by independent directors, so long as the director in question does not form part of the quorum making the decision. For those of you from companies having 2 directors with a quorum requirement of 2, be careful. The sixth duty is not to accept benefits, including bribes, from third parties, while the final duty is the duty in section 177 for a director to declare his or her interest in a proposed transaction before the transaction is entered into. If a director breaches this duty, he or she commits an offence, which may result in a fine. I've prepared a fact sheet for you summarising your duties as a director under the new legislation, which you can take before you go. Now, are there any questions about what I've mentioned before we move on to the next point?
Right, so were you able to answer any of the questions? Maybe, for example, he says that the role of a director developed from two sources. All right, or you just want to listen to it again and let's check. Did you download the file that I uploaded on the WhatsApp group? If you say something, I'm not sure if you're muted. I'm sorry. Yes, you're probably muted. Did you download the file from the WhatsApp group?
Yes.
WhatsApp group. Very good. So, do you want to listen to it again, or shall we just start completing some of the answers, some of the questions, some of the answers for the question?
Now we could start.
Right. It says that Greg Harrison says that the role of a director developed from two sources. One was from statutes, and which was the other source?
Oh, sorry, Thomas, I have to go. I have a problem. I have to go, sorry.
Right. Don't worry. This will be recorded. So
Thank you.
we may finish with Tatiana. We begin with Tatiana, and it's
I
so
will be
it's so
back next
poetic.
week. Sorry.
It's so poetic, Tatiana. We started the lesson,
See you.
and
Sorry.
you are the one who's going to end it. It's so poetic. And so, Tatiana, were you able to answer any of the questions?
Oh, yes.
Or do you want to listen to it again?
I would like to. I heard in this question something where the word like case law. I think
what was the other law? Statute and case law. Is that what you say?
Exist or not?
Case law. Well, because sometimes, remember that legal English often English law often involves precedent with a precedent, and sometimes case law is what helps legal English to develop the tools to set up the responsibilities for the director. So it may be correct. We can listen to it again if you want.
We can yes listen this part and go on so go on each question.
Well, but remember that it's not so simple. All right, let's listen to it. Can you listen to it?
Yes.
Do you listen to it?
No.
Right, so because I'm not so sure how much of yes, so let's see, let me check.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to this seminar.
Sorry, can you listen to it?
Yes.
Right, so
this morning's topic is the role of company directors following the recent introduction of new legislation. This affects all companies in the United Kingdom. The role and duty of directors has developed over the years from case law and statute.
So you were right, case law and statute. Read the next question. So let's see which is what the man says. Can you read?
Why do directors have a fiduciary duty to the
To the company, fiduciary. Yeah, it's a tongue twister, even for me. So fiduciary duty to the company. Afterwards, I'm going to check the pronunciation and I'm going to tell you. So fiduciary duty, let's leave it like that. Why do they have fiduciary duty to the company? Let's listen to it. Why do they have it?
Okay.
You are all aware of the fiduciary duty of the director to the company. Directors have this fiduciary duty because they are in a position of trust and confidence in relation to the company. Directors,
because he is in a position of good faith and confidence.
Because they are in a position of faith, of good faith.
Good faith and
Position of good faith
and
confidence.
And confidence here.
Confidence with what? What did you listen to that? Were you able to?
I don't know.
Confidence.
have a general obligation to act in good faith and in the best interests of the company, and not for any improper purpose. The role and duty of directors has developed over the years from case law and statute. You are all aware of the fiduciary duty of the director to the company. Directors have this fiduciary duty because they are in a position of trust and confidence in relation to the company.
In relation of
Directors.
So now you know it's in relation to another structure that I think I taught you.
in relation to
The position of trust and confidence in that case. Of what? Which was the full which was the full answer in relation of trust and confidence? Now, in a position of trust and confidence.
In relation to a company.
In relation to the company.
To the company.
Very good.
In what year were the duties of a director codified? He said it was the same year when was codified cost law.
Right. Well, let's see.
We can list.
Have a general obligation to act in good faith and in the best interests of the company, and not for any improper purpose. They mustn't, for example, make a secret profit out of their position. A director's duties were not clearly stated in statute until 2006. However, following the Companies Act.
So now you know they weren't codified until 2006. Yes, obviously you can always say the duties weren't codified till 2006. It's just a formality. It's always useful.
The duties weren't codified until. Yes.
Until
2006.
Or you can just say 26. Well, I think, I'm not so sure because I don't tend to pronounce it like that. It's better to say 2006. So, for example, why did the Companies Act include a statutory statement of directors' duties? All right. What did it include? Were you able to answer the question before?
I don't know what to say.
Let's see. Why?
Yes.
2006, there is now a statutory statement of directors' duties. This was done so that the law is made clear for directors. The codified duties are contained in sections 170 to 170.
Well, there you know, it says, what did it say? Why did the companies include a statutory statement?
So
We could actually listen to it all again, because otherwise I'm driving you crazy.
yes, it's quite difficult to me.
Yeah, let's listen to it again and you tell me.
Unit aware of the fiduciary duty. Thank you for coming to this seminar. This morning's topic is the role of company directors following the recent introduction of new legislation. This affects all companies in the United Kingdom. The role and duty of directors has developed over the years from case law and statute. You are all aware of the fiduciary duty of the director to the company. Directors have this fiduciary duty because they are in a position of trust and confidence in relation to the company. Directors have a general obligation to act in good faith and in the best interests of the company, and not for any improper purpose. They mustn't, for example, make a secret profit out of their position. A director's duties were not clearly stated in statute until 2006. However, following the Companies Act 2006, there is now a statutory statement of directors' duties. This was done so that the law is made clear for directors. The codified duties are contained in sections 170 to 177 of the Act.
I think it was
Section 170 makes it clear that the duties of a director...
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yes, to make it clear.
Make it clear for the directors.
For directors, yes. And it was included to make clear.
It was included to make it clear.
To make it clear. Two directors.
Make it clear to the directors.
To for the directors. Make it clear to or for.
To make it clear to the directors, or well, let's say to make it clear to the directors, because I don't think actually much about it. Let's listen to the following part. Do you see this? Can you listen to it?
Director are owed to the company, and therefore generally only the company can enforce them. The Act then lists 7 specific duties. The first duty is the duty of a director to act within the company's constitution and only exercise powers for the purpose for which they are intended. The second duty, found in section 172, is the duty to promote the success of the company for the benefit of its members as a whole. This new duty broadly replaces the common law fiduciary duty to act in the best interests of the company that I mentioned earlier.
I think it was two answers here.
Well, can you tell me how many duties did he mention?
He mentioned 7 duties.
7 duties, yes.
E and F. was to promote the success of company, to act in best interest of company, to promote success.
And to act what? Can you repeat?
To promote success of company,
Promote success of the company,
of the company.
and that's it. Let's leave it like that. Success of the company.
Yes.
So what is the factor?
And what is the factor which decides how much skill and care the directors must exercise in carrying out the duties? What is the duties? Yes. What is a factor?
Let's see. Can you listen to it?
Yes.
In fulfilling the duty to promote the success of the company, the Act says that the directors must have regard to a long list of specific factors. These include the likely long-term consequence of any decision, the interests of the company's employees, the company's business relationships with suppliers, customers, and others, the impact of the company's operations on their community and the environment, and so on. There was considerable criticism of this new duty.
So, for example, which is the factor? Did he mention that? I'm not so sure. Let's
Yes.
see. Let's go on listening, maybe.
Some factors I know that include responsibility, consequences. I don't know. I would like to listen again.
Right. Yes.
With people expressing fears that directors will be more defensive in their actions. This is because directors must consider this long list of factors with every action they take. Time will tell whether this happens or not. The third duty is to exercise independent judgment, while Section 174 deals with the fourth duty, which is to exercise reasonable care, skill, and diligence. An important factor to consider in this area is the individual director's level of specialist knowledge.
Is this
The
one?
common law principles are now clear. Directors who have
the high level of skills.
So, which is the factor which decides how much skill and care the directors must exercise in carrying out their duties? What is the factor? Is it number 4, number 5? Which did he say?
Oh, it's a factor. No, it is number say of it's number of duties, but what is a factor? I heard that I don't know if it correct this question. I would like to hear.
specialist knowledge must exercise greater care and skill than those who do not have this particular knowledge. Similarly, different skills would be expected of, say,
Sorry, let's rewind a little bit so that we can listen to it better, because I think we just missed it.
With people expressing fears that directors will be more defensive in their actions. This is because directors must consider this long list of factors with every action they take. Time will tell whether this happens or not. The third duty is to exercise independent judgment, while Section 174 deals with the fourth duty, which is to exercise reasonable care, skill, and diligence. An important factor to consider in this area is the individual director's level of specialist knowledge. The common law
Special-
principles are now
Special
clear.
level of knowledge. Special
Well,
level of knowledge.
he actually mentioned, he said one section in this case was important. Do you remember within the Companies Act? Yes, Companies Act. He mentioned a section. Do you remember the number?
174 maybe.
Yes, very good,
uh,
excellent. Well, the fact. Well, so let's make it easy. The factor contained within section 174. Right there, correct. Yeah, well, let's make it easy.
Okay.
I would have stopped when Juan Ignacio left, but I just I thought, well, we're halfway there. Why stop now? Or do you want to leave it right here, or where maybe we can?
I'm
finish it?
okay. I can. Yo puedo
Because we
seguir.
have just
Ya
3
para
more.
terminar. It's okay. There is, I have no problem with it.
Well, the 5th duty is contained in section 175. What must directors avoid? Let's listen to it. Maybe we can find the answer.
Directors who have specialist knowledge must exercise greater care and skill than those who do not have this particular knowledge. Similarly, different skills would be expected of, say, a finance director and a personnel director. Section 175 provides for the 5th duty, which is to avoid conflicts of interest. A director must avoid a situation in which he or she has or can have a direct or indirect interest that conflicts or possibly may conflict with the interest of the company.
So in that case, what must directors avoid in 175?
He has avoid conflict of his or she interests with interests of company.
So he or she must avoid conflicts of interest.
I think his interest of director and interest of company.
Conflicts of interest as a director, and as regards the company. That would be the correct answer, and you're right. Very good, Tatiana. Really. So let's see. In section 177, what must a director declare in relation to a proposed transaction? Let's listen to it and let's see. Can we find the answer?
This duty is not infringed, however, if the matter has been authorized by independent directors, so long as the director in question does not form part of the quorum making the decision. For those of you from companies having 2 directors with a quorum requirement of 2, be careful. The 6th duty is not to accept benefits, including bribes, from third parties, while the final duty is the duty in section 177 for a director to declare his or her interest in a proposed transaction before the transaction is entered into. If a director breaches this duty, he or she commits an offence, which may result in a fine. I've prepared a fact sheet for you summarising your duties as a director under the new legislation, which you can take before you go. Now, are there any questions about what I've mentioned before we move on to the next point? While the final duty is the duty in section 177 for a director to declare his or her interest in a proposed transaction before the transaction is entered into. If a director
So, could you listen to it? It says, what must the director declare in relation to a proposed transaction? He said something before the transaction is being performed.
Yes, director has to declare his interest to a proposed transaction before performing of this transaction. I understand. Maybe.
Before performing or before carrying on with a proposed transaction.
Yes.
Before carrying on
Yeah.
with the proposed transaction. Excellent. Very good, Tatiana.
And Jane, in case of not comply, don't not comply with this
What is the
obligation.
possible punishment for failing to comply with duty? You can say
Maybe he maybe would be fine.
So,
Fine.
yes. He or she may be imposed a fine.
Imposed a fine.
And well, for that, I think that was it for today. We have worked very good. And well, all of this is, as always, is saved, so you can always check what we have been working. I'm going to be uploading, how can I say? In a short time, I'll be uploading the video. So thank you, Tatiana, for coming, and I'm gonna stop sharing now. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm gonna stop
Tomás.
recording. You're welcome. It's always a pleasure.